I'd have pulled out weeks ago if I was going to pull out, you know. I've fought many times with injuries, as you know. I've fought with injured shoulder before, broken hand, broken ribs.
Daniel was ill. He looked incredible. I wasn't here in training last night. So that's strange. He's ill. He can't fight if he's ill. Okay, health has to come first.
Dillian Whyte calls it quits before his bout with Moses Itauma, blaming money problems and management chaos. Whitey pulled out weeks ahead of the clash. Fans were left shocked as the seasoned heavyweight chose to walk away instead of testing himself against the surging force of Moses Itauma.
Case I'd have pulled out 3-4 weeks ago when I knew that obviously the manager position was going to be in place. You know, obviously my camps cost a lot of money. My training camps cost me a lot of money, you know what I mean? So I'd have just pulled out early to save all of this and money and stuff. I got like a lot of people in camp that works for me. Look.
Eddie Hearn doesn't buy into Dillian Whyte's retirement one bit. His tone drips with sarcasm, suggesting Whitey's pulling a cheap move to grab cash later instead of facing Moses Itauma like a real fighter. White's taken the easy way out, hiding behind the word retirement to dodge a proper beating.
British fight fans, because we've got a chance to make the biggest fight in boxing, but you know, if that is the last we see of him, he's had a great career. I doubt it, but you know, it's always best to come into retirement to make sure someone pays you to come out of retirement. But if that's his lot, much respect to him and wish him all the best.
To retire when you're, and Eddie wasn't finished there. His next jab hit Whyte where it hurts most. His fading body. Hearn lays it bare. Whitey didn't choose to retire, he got pushed. His chin shot, his speed's done, the fire's gone. Rather than go to war with Moses, Whitey disappeared like a faded shadow. This isn't retirement, it's surrender.
It's time to retire when your physicalities change. Your punch resistance isn't as good. You know, maybe you're a bit slower. Maybe your desire's not there. We're not saying.
Johnny Nelson calls out the truth behind the curtain. Dillian Whyte's exit isn't about emotions, it's about his wallet. Hearn saw the signs. A fake farewell to jack up his asking price. Whitey didn't just duck Moses Itauma, he tried turning his fear into a paycheck. That's not stepping away, it's panic in disguise.
Actually, Eddie Hearn had kind of called that a couple of weeks before. He said he's probably going to try and retire to bump the purse bid up.
Yeah. And just when you think it couldn't sink lower, Carl Froch drops his harsh verdict. Froch doesn't sugarcoat it. Even he's unsure if Whitey's chasing cash or just done for good. But one thing's clear to Froch: this exit stinks of a setup. Whitey's retirement isn't bold. It's a media trick because he couldn't face the thunder Moses was ready to unleash.
This retirement, I'm not sure if it's genuine. Maybe it is, but I don't know what he's going to do now he's retired. The fact of the matter is, he's announced his retirement. He's either trying to leverage for more money, putting himself in position, so he's got people begging for him to come out, or he's actually genuinely going to retire. Not sure what.
Duke McKenzie sees Dillian Whyte's decision as more than just unprofessional. He calls it disgraceful. To Duke, this isn't just a retirement, it's a betrayal. A betrayal to boxing, to fans, and even to Whyte's own family name. He didn't go out swinging. He didn't fight to the final bell. He backed out. And by doing that, he disrespected everything he once stood for. The timing, right before the Moses Itauma showdown, makes it sting even more. Instead of passing the torch with pride, Whyte dropped it and bolted. Duke calls it a slap in the face to his father, a man who likely stood ringside, believing in his son's grit. That belief collapsed in moments. This wasn't just a poor choice. It was a coward's exit disguised as a career move. And no matter what excuses Whyte gives, Duke's words cut deep. Real fighters don't run.
It's just wrong, in my book. You know what? I also think that, you know, what he's done, it's like a slap in the face for his dad.
If that wasn't harsh enough, Johnny Nelson delivers an even colder dose of truth. Nelson doesn't soften the blow. He straight up calls Dillian Whyte the boy who cried wolf. This isn't the first time he's pulled the "I'm done" routine. And fans are fed up. Nelson speaks for those who once rooted for Whyte. Every time pressure mounts, he vanishes, behind retirements, injury claims, or test controversies. This time, Johnny isn't buying it. Neither is anyone else. What makes it worse is how obvious the timing is. Right as Moses Itauma, the young lion, was ready to tear through him, Nelson sees through it all. This isn't retirement. It's fear. Whyte's rep as a fearsome heavyweight is now a punchline. The same guy who once yelled "anyone, anywhere," is now hiding behind PR statements. Nelson's verdict is brutal but fair. If you can't back it up, don't speak it. And right now, Whyte's all mouth.
He's not going to do it again. We've seen it before, and I'm quite sure the common word's going to be the boy that cried wolf. I think in reality...
Carl Froch picks up the baton, and his frustration is overflowing. Froch has reached his limit. He doesn't view Whyte's retirement as anything real. To him, it's a shallow, attention-seeking ploy. Froch doesn't sugarcoat it. In his eyes, Whyte isn't bowing out with grace. He's staging drama to stay relevant and maybe milk more cash from the sport. Be it for a comeback payday or just feeding his ego, Froch is done playing along. And when a seasoned vet like Froch says, "I'm sick of it," you know it's serious. Whyte's antics have shifted from annoying to downright embarrassing. This isn't how a true warrior behaves. It's how a man scared of fading away acts. He had a real shot to prove himself against Moses Itauma, a rising juggernaut. And instead of answering the call, he bailed. Froch's tone speaks volumes. Dillian Whyte isn't a fighter anymore. He's become a walking circus act.
He is trying to get attention, he's trying to stay in the limelight and keep in the public eye, or is he trying to do it as a negotiating ploy, so when he's retired it's going to cost a bit more money to get him out of retirement? But either way, if I'm totally honest, I'm getting fucked.
Amid all the roasting, Spencer Oliver offers a slightly different, yet still telling perspective. Spencer gives props where they're due, but even his compliments carry a note of disappointment. Sure, Dillian Whyte brought fire, flair, and chaos to every press event. Sure, he could hype a fight like few others. But where's that spark now? Instead of bowing out in glory, Whyte slipped away in shame. Spencer calls him a serious talent, and he was. But talent without guts means nothing. Backing out of the biggest moment of your career, especially against a teenage wrecking ball like Moses Itauma, isn't retirement, it's retreat. The man who once lit up the ring has become a letdown outside it. Fans won't remember the talk. They'll remember the exit. No gloves. No courage. No war. Even Spencer's respectful tone can't cover the truth. Whyte quit when it mattered most, and that's what history will remember.
Just that he's a big personality and he sells fights so well and he's a big character, and the press conferences, the build-up to fights, and what he delivers in the ring. The guy is a serious talent, and he'll be missed when he's retired, that is for sure.
Colin Hart doesn't hold back. He dives straight into the elephant in the room, the failed drug tests. Dillian Whyte hasn't just lost respect. He's lost all trust. This isn't guesswork anymore. It's a pattern. 1 failed test? Maybe bad luck. 2. Highly questionable. 3. Now we're talking about a legacy built on deception. Hart doesn't outright bury him, but the message is sharp. It's bad for Whyte, worse for boxing. The sport that gave him everything is now stained by his controversy. His legacy? Forever in doubt. What was legit? What was juiced? Did he ever win clean? We may never know, but suspicion will haunt him forever. Add that to the last-minute retirement, right before facing a young, clean threat like Moses, and it all makes sense. Whyte didn't just run. He ran with smoke behind him. Hart's closing sentiment hits hard. Dillian Whyte didn't retire, he crumbled.
Don't forget, he's been failed two previous drug tests. The second one, he was exonerated. So let's not jump to conclusions. But it's not good for him, and it's not good for the sport.
Dave Coldwell echoes what every die-hard boxing fan felt when the news hit. Cheating bastard. Harsh. Maybe. But honest. Absolutely. The anger, the disgust, the betrayal, it all spilled out. Why? Because a man once seen as a fearless scrapper now looks like a fraud. From warrior to runner. From respect to scandal. Coldwell admits the full picture isn't clear yet. But the damage? It's already done. When a fighter with a tainted past ducks out just before a monster fight, the trust is gone. This wasn't just a dodge. It reeks of something darker. Whyte's legacy has gone from gritty to grimy. Whatever he built in the ring is now buried under doubt.
Fucking hell. Cheating bastard. You know, that's the initial reaction. Whether it's a first fail or a third fail, that's the initial reaction. Your gut reaction is. But then obviously we don't know what he's failed for yet. And we don't know what it is. But then when it's someone that's failed 3 times, or this is the third adverse reaction.
Now let's flip the script. From disgrace to dominance. Tony Bellew steps in to shine a light on Moses Itauma's meteoric rise. Bellew gives Moses the respect he deserves. He doesn't compare him to journeyman. He compares him to Usyk. That says everything. While Bellew admits Moses may not yet be as refined as the pound-for-pound king, the raw ingredients are all there. Footwork, ring IQ, movement, and fearless mentality. Moses has it all. Bellew calls him unbelievable, outstanding, and the future. And this isn't hype, it's real recognition from someone who knows war inside the ropes. Bellew has only one concern: Moses' size. But then he reminds everyone, Usyk defied size odds, and Moses can too. What Bellew is really saying is that boxing's evolution is here. It's no longer just about size. It's about brains, timing, and pure skill. And Moses Itauma checks every box. With Whitey out of the way, Moses doesn't just advance. He takes center stage as Britain's most dangerous prospect. Bellew's words confirm it. The heavyweight division better stay on alert.
But he's the next in line. I think he's the future of the heavyweight division. I think he's an outstanding talent. I think he's got a good team around him, Ben Davison and Lee Wiley is the brains that study everything. And they use what we call video analysis now in boxing. They're the one team that...
Derek Chisora never filters his words, and thank God for that. His unfiltered truth is exactly what the boxing world needed. He lays it down raw. Fighting Moses Itauma isn't just a challenge. It's career suicide if you're not ready. Dillian Whyte? Chisora says he never stood a chance. When Derek jokes you've got a better shot winning the lottery than beating Moses, he's not being funny. He's issuing a warning. At just 24, Moses is trained by elite-level coaches, packs serious knockout power, and has nerves of steel. Chisora's not just praising talent. He's pointing out the brutal gap between hype and real danger. And let's be honest, Dillian Whyte probably felt it too. That explains the no-show. Fighters like Moses are rare. And opponents like Whitey don't survive long when they cross paths with one. Chisora makes it clear. Moses isn't just the future. He's the kind of fighter who makes veterans question their careers. Just like Whitey did.
A guy who's 24 years old, who's got his always faculties right, getting trained by one of the best trainers in the United Kingdom. And then, mate, it's like you got more chance of winning the lottery than you beating that Moses Itauma.
Dillian Whyte's retirement isn't just a headline. It's a humiliation that shook the boxing world. A man who once demanded battles with the best folded at the thought of a 19-year-old wrecking ball named Moses Itauma. From Eddie Hearn's sarcasm to Carl Frocka's boiling frustration, from Johnny Nelson's sharp comparisons to Duke McKenzie's deep disappointment, every voice in boxing echoed one truth. Whitey didn't retire. He ran. He ducked, delayed, and disappeared behind layers of excuses. Drug test shadows, lost credibility, and emotional spin only poured gasoline on the fire. Meanwhile, Moses said nothing, and didn't need to. The silence of a focused destroyer says more than the noise of a crumbling veteran. As Bellew said, he's the future. As Chisora warned, you'd have better luck with the lottery than surviving the ring with him. And when someone like Colin Hart connects White's career to repeated drug test failures, you know this isn't just the fall of a fighter, it's the collapse of a lie. Moses Itauma is the storm the heavyweight division feared, and Whyte saw it coming. Now the spotlight shifts. The old guard has crumbled, and a new era has arrived. No more staged drama. No more false kings. Just real skill, real fire, and real fights. So if you're ready to witness the rise of a future world champion, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and stay locked in. This isn't just boxing. This is the takeover. And it's only just begun.